Now let's jump over to the SLS powders, which is definitely a much easier portion to swallow here. Our first powder family is Nylon 12, which has 4 derivatives. There's Nylon 12, Nylon 12 Tough, Nylon 12 White, and Nylon 12 Glass-Filled, or GF. Nylon 12 is the most common SLS material available across all manufacturers because it's easy to print with and it produces parts with a nice balance of strength, durability, and service finish. In fact, the standard Nylon 12 powder is Formlabs' most veteran and most popular material in its SLS lineup. Because of its versatile mechanical properties, the Nylon 12 powders cover a wide range of applications. These include jigs and fixtures and other factory floor support parts, end-use parts, prototypes, and some material-specific applications like Nylon 12 Tough's ability to produce snaps, ratchets, and hinges, Nylon 12 White for making medical device components and dyeable parts, and lastly, printing load-bearing parts in high-temp environments with Nylon 12 GF. I've included the refresh rates here for each material, where the refresh rate is the ratio of fresh powder to recycled powder. For example, Nylon 12 has a 30% refresh rate, which equates to 30% fresh powder and 70% recycled powder. The ability to recycle material is definitely one of SLS printing's strengths. Now, Hyphen, a manufacturer of automated food dispensing equipment used to dispense the ingredients that are used in like highly customized food bowls with surprisingly remarkable consistency, employs 2 Fuse 1 Plus systems to produce non-food contact end-use parts and to print small parts for machine repairs. Since each machine is customized to the ingredients it will be dispensing, 3D printing the parts allows for rapid iteration and low-cost production, which is essential for this industry and for the budget of a startup. One major result of this is faster time to market. So fast that Hyphen can build an entire complex automated food dispenser in as little as 30 days. Of the 4 materials in this Nylon 12 material family, only Nylon 12 White has a deviation in its printing process in that it's recommended to print this material in nitrogen rather than ambient air to avoid yellowing as the powder ages. Also, Nylon 12 Glass-Fill has a protective surface armor that surrounds the part and requires media blasting to remove it. Otherwise, the complete Fuse ecosystem is all that's needed to print these, which will be the case for most of these materials unless specified otherwise. The second most common SLS powder is Nylon 11, which offers greater ductility and flexibility than Nylon 12. There is one derivative of this material, Nylon 11 carbon fiber, or CF, that incorporates carbon fiber particles into its powder makeup to enhance the stiffness and durability for more extreme environments. These attributes for both of these materials, combined with their chemical resistance and high strength-to-weight ratio, makes them popular in the aerospace industry. Parts that are exposed to high impacts, jigs and fixtures, high temperature components, prosthetics, manufacturing aids, and flexible hinges are all valid applications. TUM Boring took it to the next level though, when they needed a fast, low-cost way of testing different cutting tool geometries on their tunnel boring machine. With 3D printing being the only option, and Nylon 11 carbon fiber as the only material capable of surviving the tests, TUM Boring was able to identify the optimal cutting profile for the final machining process. The 3D printed parts were surprisingly strong, able to move their 15-ton container through sticky, corrosive clay, and showing similar amounts of wear as the stainless steel tools after the same duration of use. Lastly, to print with these materials, it's highly recommended to use nitrogen for Nylon 11, and it's required to be used with Nylon 11 CF. The nitrogen flow should have the following parameters as you see listed here, and while the nitrogen generator is the preferred source, there are alternatives as well. All this is found on this page called Using Inert Atmospheric Control, which again is on the Formlabs support site. All right, now we're getting down to the final 2 materials here, starting with polypropylene. Now, polypropylene was the second non-nylon SLS powder offered by Formlabs after TPU 90A. Given that it's the second most used thermoplastic in the world, polypropylene's familiar properties and omnipresence makes it very attractive for 3D printing. Plus, the ability to prototype in the same material as will be used in mass production results in these prototypes being more representative of what the final product will look and feel like. Polypropylene's high ductility allows for parts to handle repeated bending. Its chemical resistance can handle a wide range of acids, bases, alcohols, and solvents, and it produces watertight parts that won't leak. The similar properties that it shares with nylon 11, while being a much lower barrier to entry, makes polypropylene a popular SLS powder. Prime Inspections discovered the benefits of printing with polypropylene on the fuse when they needed a digital X-ray tool for inspecting oil and gas pipeline welds. To hold the X-ray panels around the 42-inch diameter pipe, they started iterating on a few designs, which were originally machined from metal, but the process proved to be prohibitively expensive, plus the parts were pretty heavy. To continue iterating, they switched to SLS printing with nylon 11 carbon fiber and later polypropylene for the better impact resistance at colder temperatures. 41 parts can be packed into a build chamber that takes about 1 day to print and 2 full days to produce a completed digital X-ray pipe inspection tool. Now, their X-ray inspection process takes 10 minutes to produce the X-ray results rather than 2 hours as before. Plus, Prime Inspections was able to market the product and sell it to other pipeline inspectors across the US and Canada. Okay, so our last material is TPU 90A. Just like how the resin category had one family of flexible materials, so too does the SLS category with TPU 90A. And like polypropylene, TPU 90A is a common thermoplastic in industry, and printing it on an SLS printer like the Fuse 1 affords you greater geometric complexity and design freedom than on FDM printers, while still maintaining familiarity. Folks like RadioFlyer use TPU 90A for functional prototyping of soft touch components on their e-bike, such as these handle grips. TPU 90A also sees use in hybrid material scenarios, such as being paired with nylon 12 components on this drone built by QRQA FPV. Nylon 12 serves as the rigid structure of the drone frame, whereas delicate components that require cushioning, damping, and impact protection can be mounted using TPU 90A parts. The high number of SLS printed parts here is a response to the ever-increasing supply chain chaos. I mean, after all, why rely on it when you can just print everything in-house?